The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Hi, I'm Kevin O'Flaherty. I hope you enjoy this Learn About Law video and podcast presented by O'Flaherty Law. If you need some help, please feel free to give us a call at 630-324-6666. That's 630-324-6666. We offer free consultations in many areas of law, and we have several locations for your convenience. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
Hi, this is Andrew with Learn About Law, and in today's video, we'll discuss Immigration Form I-485. We'll cover some of the individual questions and attempt to summarize the lengthy portions of the document. This video is not meant to be an all-encompassing guide to the form itself, but rather a simplified and condensed summary. If you do have any questions about the topics covered in this video or about immigration in general, don't hesitate to call our office. So let's go ahead and jump on in. So immigrants interested in applying for lawful permanent residence in the United States, again a green card, will need to complete Form I-485, which collects information about the applicant in order to determine his or her admissibility or denial. The information entered into this form should only refer to the person, person seeking the green card and not the petitioner. You can complete the form on paper or via the computer, which is the suggested way to do it, as it allows for easier corrections. Some lines will ask for information you don't have, such as a middle name. For these lines, it's best to leave the answer blank unless directed otherwise on the form. At times, you may also need to include more information that can fit in the space provided, so have extra sheets of blank paper on hand and be sure each of these papers is attached to the physical form and contains your name, alien registration number if you have one, the page and part number to which the item refers, and your signature. So we'll start with part one, information about you. This is going to be the person who is actually applying for permanent residence. So make sure you use the name on your passport unless it has changed since you received your current passport. If any other names might appear on your paperwork, list those as well. Depending on your living situation, you will enter one of three options for a mailing address. 1, your current address. 2, the address of someone who will receive mail for you. That's going to be the in care of line. And 3, if you are applying for a green card due to being in an abusive relationship, see the alternate and or safe mailing address line. Under the place of last arrival to the United States line, the USCIS is typically looking for a place that you spoke with the CBP officer. For most people, this will be the airport they landed at when they came to the U.S. If you're not sure, you can go to the I-94 website and search under the Travel History button. Make sure you have your I-90 form, that's your arrival, departure, record number, card, or website available. This can be found stapled to your passport if you came before April 30th, 2013. If you came after, unless you drove from Canada, you'll need to look the number up on the I-94 website. You will need your passport number in order to retrieve this information. Status expiration in the expires on box. You'll need to enter the date that your status expires. This can be found on your I-94 form or again on the I-94 website. And often it's going to be different from your expiration of your visa, so make sure you note the difference and put down what's appropriate. Some individuals, such as students, have a duration of status listed on their I-94 form. In this case, recording DS in the box is usually the best option. If you're unsure, again, speak with a qualified attorney. Make sure you're clear in your description under current immigration status. Use simple words such as student or visitor, or use your visa designation if you have one. If your stay period has passed or you enter the country illegally, it is highly advisable you speak with an attorney. Part 2, so application type or filing category. For the underlying petition item, you're looking for the receipt number from USCIS located on the 797 approval notice. If this doesn't sound familiar to you, then you may need to talk to your lawyer, or you might be filing your petition at the same time as the I-485. In this case, you would leave this item blank. Your answer for a priority date will depend on your situation. Immediate relatives and others in a category in which visas are immediately available are typically going to already know this information. If you're not in one of these categories, then you need to find a 6-digit number on your USCIS approval notice. If you are a derivative applicant that is writing in on another person's petition, you will need to identify the principal applicant. Probably that's going to be a spouse or a parent. Part 3, additional information about you. So items 1 through 4 in Part 3 apply to those who have applied for a green card in the past. If you did, be sure to check yes under question 1 and fill in the information below. Record the application decision, approved, denied, etc. And don't be concerned if you were denied. There is no need to provide an explanation. Under items 5 through 7, you will list your address history for the past 5 years. List your current address first, and if there is not enough space to list all the applicable addresses, you can use the space under Part 14, additional information. For items 9 through 10, list any address where you have lived outside the U.S. for more than 1 year. This information is used primarily for background checks. Items 11 through 18 are for employment history over the last 5 years. Fill it out as accurately as possible. If you have not been working, leave it blank. Items 19 through 22 are for employment outside the U.S. over the last 5 months or 5 years, even if it was within the last year. Part 4 concerns information about your parents, including questions about demographics, mainly for background purposes. Fill it out to the best of your knowledge, and if one or more of your parents are deceased, be sure to answer deceased in the appropriate box. Under Part 5, we've got information about your marriage. So here you will list whether you are single, married, divorced, etc. This section is of particular importance if you are immigrating for or based on marriage. Be as thorough as possible, and if extra info is necessary, write it in Part 14. Note that if you are married to more than one person, this could potentially pose a problem and should be something to address with a qualified attorney prior to completing the application. Part 6 is information about your children. So you're going to indicate the total number of children, including stepchildren and adult children. Be sure to list all their names as accurately as possible and include all children and stepchildren, whether they are immigrating now or not. If you fail to list any children and then attempt to immigrate them at a later time, you may run into problems. Then we've got Part 7, biographic information. So the information you will enter into this section includes things like race, ethnicity, other physical information. This helps USCIS to confirm your identity. If you're not sure which box you should indicate, USCIS has a guide on its website that's easy to follow. Part 8, general eligibility and admissibility grounds. So this section is long and can definitely be a bit intimidating. However, as long as you answer truthfully, there should be no problem. This section is ultimately meant to weed out criminals, terrorists, and those who may do harm after entry into the U.S. If you are involved in any group that can be linked back to violence, even if it was a non-violent subgroup of that original organization, it is best to seek the counsel of a qualified attorney. Conversely, if you are in or were in any support groups, religious groups, etc., you can list those here, and the USCIS officer may look favorably upon your application. You will also need to disclose any arrests, even if you were never charged, or if you are proved innocent. It's not necessary to list driving tickets as long as drugs and alcohol were not involved, and the offense did not result in a fine over $500. Again, it's very important to answer truthfully here. Even if the answer is yes to one or more inadmissibility questions, you should still answer yes. These are not immediate denials based on inadmissibility, and a lawyer can help you better navigate this section. Answer accordingly and explain your options. So again, filling out this form can be very intimidating and confusing. You don't want to have your application denied due to a simple error or misunderstanding, and a qualified immigration attorney can help ensure that you have the greatest chance of successful permanent immigration to the U.S. As always, thank you for tuning in.